after Batman 1989 is Batman Returns, but due to me not owning the disc, it's currently on its way. At the time now, I will have to gloss over it and review it for another day. So we will get to the next movie, and I will review Batman Returns when it comes. But as of now, I will now review Batman Forever. The movie where people see before it went all wrong. But we'll review that another day. But as for Batman Forever, honestly, many people really have no idea what to say about this. I mean, you could call it bad, and you can call it good. Like, it's only see that mixture of good and bad. I mean, there's certainly a lot to like about it, and certainly a lot to not like about it. But before we get to that, let's look at how this movie became what it is. So after Batman Returns, they scared the hell out of some kids and ruined McDonald's, you know, Happy Meals toy thing, whatever it was. Tim Burton was booted off, but put as a producer, and the only thing he was doing producing was allowing Joel Schumacher to be the director who he picked, which he did not add anything else. No stories, no writing, nothing. Just producer of that. That was the only thing. So Joel Schumacher did actually want to make Batman dark. Give it the Dark Knight style of it. But Warner Brothers, and their amazing ideas of Melanie Lynn, did not want Batman to be Batman Returns dark again, or that dark in general. So they wanted it to be more family friendly. So what had happened was they made it more comedic, lighter, and a little cheesy, to which Michael Keaton refused to do and left the project, which I thought was a good idea. And Val Kilmer took his place, and he did not read the script towards the movie, and if he had, I have no idea if he would have accepted. But Joel and Val actually had problems on set. They were at each other's throats at times, it was reported. And Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey also had problems with each other. So production backstage was rough for Batman Forever. But enough about that. Let's talk about the movie itself. So Batman Forever is, I guess, I don't know if it's standalone or a sequel to Batman Returns. Probably not. I'm hoping, since I like to see it in a different universe. But yeah. As for these, the movie itself, it's a mixture of good and bad. Now, I'll explain what was good and bad, but let's start with the movie. So, it starts with the intro with the big words coming in your way, and if you were wearing 3D glasses at the time, it would have been cool. So, it comes with all those big words. Then eventually, the Bat logo, and with the words Forever put on, which I admit was nice. Then we see Batman suiting up, getting ready, in an updated Batsuit and an updated Batmobile. Then Alfred asks him if he wants a sandwich prepared, and he says, "I'll get drive-through," which is one of the dumbest lines to put in the movie. The only reason it was likely put in is because of a McDonald's ad or something. I mean, I saw an ad of that where it was put, like, it's just a stupid line that was put. So as Batman drives off to save the day, we see parts of New Gotham, which is more colorful, which doesn't look good. Then we get introduced to Two-Face, who is not played by Billy D. Williams, but played by Tommy Lee Jones. And there definitely shows some interesting ideas there. I mean, I saw a lot of possibilities with Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, but once we get a sight of his second face, his second face looks not right. I mean, like, the purple, like, it looks too cartoony. I mean, I don't know what Tim would have done. Maybe not make it like that, but it's like, it's literally just straight half, at least with the Dark Knight, they did at least put it on, like, partly on his other face. I mean, like, it just looks like real straight in half, which it looks beyond ridiculous. I mean, once we get the plot, Two-Face kidnaps some people, trying to wait for the bat so he can take him out because, he hates Batman for, I guess, not saving him when he was in court for, I guess, I don't know if he was testifying when Underworld Kingpin Boss Maroni splashed acid on his face, which seemingly by the lack of security in the room, should have just brought a gun since that would have been easier. Yeah, he gets acid splashed on his face, which still really doesn't make sense since it didn't look like a lot was poured in, since his face is literally just straight. But yeah, so starts with Two-Face trying, to get Batman, trying to kill him, kidnaps this annoying guy who, by the looks of it, sounds like he belongs in the 60s version of this one. And, like, he's just, like, his lines are so, like, oh, no, like, the acid, or my shoes are burning, like, oh, no, I don't know this, I don't know that, like, he just got so annoying. Like, oh, it's raining acid. And then we get to see some of Val Kilmer's Batman in action, which is okay for the most part. As for the music itself, it had its moments as well, but it's bad. Yeah. So then, Two-Face, puts Batman and that guy into this, what is it called? Like, it was in this thing. They get caught in a trap. And acid's being splashed. Looks like they're all done for, but Batman, him, finds a way to escape. Eventually saves the guy. He gets to Harvey's, helicopter. And then it crashes into the Statue of Liberty. Oops, I mean Gotham. I don't know why that's there, but yeah, it gets to that. Then, yeah. Destroys, Batman falls in water, and blah blah blah. Eventually, we then meet Edward Nygma, played by Jim Carrey, who was the rising star coming off one of his more iconic movies, Dumb and Dumber in 94. This movie, 95. So we get to see him. He's very... he's nervous. A little dorky. Yeah, I don't know. He's a little, like... His performance is over the top, but I think that was the point as well. I mean, he just, acted so, peculiar. And his boss, who was played by, Ed... Ed something, I don't know, doesn't like him. And Edward Nygma, who's a big fan of Bruce Wayne, tries to get him to see his new idea of creation, the box, which is a cone for some reason, which would, I guess, put the mind into the, I don't know, would mess with people's minds, think what was real was not, think what they are in or not. It was very interesting. But Bruce declines, thinking it was too dangerous. And of course, though Edward Nygma does not take it very well and plots his revenge in an interesting way. So after that, the bat signal is called, and we get introduced to Chase Meridian, which we actually got introduced to in the beginning of the movie, who by the looks of it really likes Batman. And yeah, we get to see, she lights up the bat signal, and we get to see her, and, she tries to, act all smart, saying his coin's Achilles heel, which I highly doubt she actually saw from the distance since he was mostly in the building. But, so we get that. Then, we get a lot of talking, and her basically wanting to date Batman, and her trying to seduce him, which is definitely an interesting scene to the most. Then we get a little Catwoman reference, as she said, Batman likes strong women, or does she need skin-tight vinyl and a whip? But being Michelle Pfeiffer helps too. But yeah, after that scene, we get to see Commissioner Gordon in his pajamas, real professional, noticing the Batmobile action. So yeah, they just say nothing happens. Batman goes his way. Then we get to see Edgar Enigma in action. Eventually, takes out his boss, but used a machine on him, and it worked. Then threw him, or slided him out of the window and fell in the water. That happened. Then we get a clue. Time after that, which Bruce deduces it's a clock. But it seems weird. Then we get to see Edward Nygma's home, which is very thin and doesn't look like it's much, and you don't even really see a bed. But I do like the music in that part. It actually seemed interesting. And then we see him being a big Riddler fan, who I guess exists in this world, oddly, which I guess was a thing, which he copied off in later in the movie. So eventually, Bruce takes it to Jason Meridian, who's boxing in her office, and we get some more talk of her and Bruce and the riddle, Batman, blah blah blah. Eventually leads to the circus. We're introduced to Flying Graysons, and we get to see the debut of Robin, who hasn't appeared since Burt Ward. And there was talks in Batman and Batman Returns of Marlon Wayans of being Robin, which definitely sounds like an interesting idea itself, but he didn't appear. And in this version, Dick has a brother who, in most versions, we do not see or know about. It's usually with just his parents. And in this one, Two-Face is the one who kills parents, not Tony Zuko. For some reason, I guess they need Two-Face to be more plot. So his parents and his brother gets killed after they were trying to save a bomb. Bruce trying to reveal he was Batman. Two-Face hurry, I'm Batman, but it was too loud. So eventually, Bruce takes Dick under his wing. It's all chatty. Then eventually we get to the Riddler finally getting his costume, which looks meh. Then we see Two-Face moping, blah blah blah, talking to his two women who are nice. Which then eventually the Riddler comes. Two-Face, thinking of killing him, shows him his box idea that could work. So eventually, heads or tails, Heady uses that idea, or Heady gets his head blown off, which we know did not happen. So then it starts with a segment of the Riddler and Two-Face robbing the banks of Gotham, diamonds, money, all that. So eventually, let's try to fast forward more. So eventually it starts with just Batman, trying to, save the day and everything. Trying to stop Two-Face and find him. That led to a segment that happened that was okay. Still, I just can't get through those colors. And the Batmobile, some said it looked like a wiener. I didn't notice until it was said that I noticed that. I mean, nothing can really beat the 89 Batmobile. It looks so futuristic. But yeah, so eventually Dick finds out that Bruce is Batman. He steals the Batmobile, fires out a few guys, tries to be, his sidekick, either Batboy, Nightwing, or whatever he wanted. As he said, he doesn't want him to be involved. So eventually Bruce is trying to figure out on who Chase really loves more, Bruce Wayne or Batman. So dressing up in his suit again, he goes to find out. Goes to her house, they make out, but she decides to choose Bruce over Batman, which he's happy about. Then one thing I didn't mention, there was actually a deleted scene of Bruce in his father's diary, I think, his red book. It was going to show, basically helping, with Bruce's arc, him and Batman, not figure out who he was, and Like, it was very interesting. It's too bad it got cut out of the movie because I guess they thought it was too dark. It was interesting. Seeing Bruce, being affected by that, I feel like it's something we should have gotten more in this one, which is pity we didn't. So I thought Joel was doing that right. So Bruce decides to call it quits on Batman. Dick, angry by this, decides to leave. So eventually, the Riddler and Two-Face find out Bruce Wayne is Batman when there was actually a party earlier in the film that Bruce celebrating Enigma's success with the box, where Bruce actually uses it, thinks it's off, but yeah, it was then turned on. Then they figure out he's Batman. Then it's also Halloween, so they go to Bruce Wayne's house to the Riddler doesn't want to take him out, Two-Face does. So before we get to that, there's where Bruce, trying to tell Chase Meridian that he's Batman. Before that, she drops some flowers. Then he remembers of the night his parents died. Then affects him. And then we get to the scene where he almost reveals he's Batman. Or he probably did off screen, I'm not really sure. But then the Riddler and Two-Face knock out Alfred. Then the scene is where the fight happens, where Bruce and Chase are fighting off his goons. Then the Riddler somehow opening the path into the Batcave, which he then destroys in those little toy bombs of his, I guess, grenades. Destroys it in a comedic way. Then Two-Face, who's trying to flip the coin, hoping to land on what he wants. So I guess it's maybe heads, Bruce dies, or shoots him, or tails, he lives. He keeps flipping it, and it keeps landing on the wrong one. He keeps flipping it until he gets on the right one, which is not Two-Face. If he lands on one, if it's just one flip, he lands on heads or tails, it's the choice, and he has to accept that. That wasn't him. He just kept flipping it and flipping it, hoping to get it right. So eventually he gets what he wants and shoots Bruce, which don't know what kind of gun he had, which definitely hit him, but knocks him out. And Two-Face about to finish him off for good. Riddler stops him and demands he lives, so he learned something, and I guess eventually meet him again. So then Chase gets kidnapped. Bruce eventually wakes up. Jewel destroyed. Everything's destroyed. Now there's nothing left. Dick Grayson ran away. Everything a mess. So eventually you're trying to figure out the riddle and everything, which they do, and deduce that Edward Enigma is the Riddler. So with all the bat suits destroyed and a lot of the materials in the Batcave, there's this jet jet ski that will go, and a little plane one. Then before that we got where Bruce was suiting up into his new batsuit, which I'm actually a huge fan of. We see him suiting up, and then we get an ass shot. And you thought the nipples were bad. I didn't even mention that. Oof. Nipples and ass. Ugh. Foreshadowing. Ugh. Well, besides that part, the batsuit actually looks interesting. And Val Kilmer's voice actually sounds a little bit like Kevin Conroy, who does Batman in most cartoons, and at the time Batman the Animated Series, which they should have taken notes from. So, trying to figure out which one to take, Dick Grayson comes out of nowhere in a new suit, not his 1960s campy look one that he had earlier. So, yeah, I'm trying to figure out who created it. Alfred did, which is odd, especially since it didn't seem that long since the whole thing happened. But we'll get past that. So eventually, Batman accepts him as his partner, and they're both off to save the day. Then we get one of the funniest scenes in the movie where Commissioner Gordon thinks Batman will not return. Then he comes cheering, telling him to go. And Batman gives a thumbs up to that. Me. Yeah. So that happens. They're both off to save the day. And the Riddler, Two-Face, they're playing this game that I've seen before, but I never actually figured out the name. So they're playing it, hoping that, it destroys the one on water and both. But it missed, but then they finally got Robin in the water, which he was able to eject. Then Batman got hit, then turned into a boat. Yeah. So eventually, then men tried to capture him. Batman was able to take them out with a fishing net. It was a very interesting scene. So after that failed, they have a new idea. So then, when they washed ashore, Dick says, "Holy rusted metals, Batman." And he's like, "What?" He says, "It's all holy nut." I get the reference, but still, I didn't think it was needed. Funny, but still. So eventually, they try to get to their lair. Eventually, Dick meets up with Two-Face, and Batman gets trapped under this thing. I think he got trapped or something, or stuck there, trying to figure out why. So with Dick, Grace, and Robin trying to avenge his family, almost does kill Two-Face, but he decides he wants him in jail. Two-Face points a gun, and Robin can't do anything. So after that, Batman trying to get up those Riddler question mark ways in, which again looks interesting. So he tries to get in. He was able to use his rocket boots or whatever that is, and he was able to destroy that thing, and it was able to get in. So then we get the final standoff. Batman, Two-Face, Riddler, all on one. The Riddler reveals his plan. He wants to see if Batman and Bruce Wayne can truly coexist. And we'll find that out today. So it's real. He's kidnapped. Well, we already know he's kidnapped Chase Meridian and Robin. And he says he has to choose which one lives and which one dies. Which is definitely interesting. Foreshadowing another movie in another franchise. But yeah, and I actually really liked that scene. I liked it how we actually finally got to see Val Kilmer in a more serious way. There's no way to save them or myself. This is just one giant death trap. The whole scene with him being so serious and everything, and the voice. I wish we could have seen more of that in this. Maybe if everything else was more lighter, we still got to see Val Kilmer more dark, and him having an ass nipples or cheesy one-liners. That was one of his best moments. So as the Riddler prepares to dump them both into the water, very far down, Batman has a riddle for him, which the Riddler wants to hear. He says, hold on, what was it he said? I know what he said, but he sees without seeing, darkness is, I see without seeing. Darkness. It was something like that. But after that, he says he's blind as a bat, which exactly. So he hits this thing. I guess was generating all those things into his mind, making him smarter. It breaks. Then the radio's I don't know. It's warping or something something like that in a funny way. So he was able to press both of them, both Robin and Chase Meridian falling to a possible death. And Batman was able to save both of them with his grappling hook with the bat symbol on it, which again, merchandising, which I always found annoying, in actually a pretty heroic way. And there's actually a scene where he definitely looks like Christian Bale's Batman, when he's holding on to Robin. You can actually see the similarities there. Then after Batman saving both Chase and Robin, Two-Face out of nowhere points a gun, preparing to take them out both. Then Batman saying about Harvey's coin, Two-Face's coin, saying he's a man about things or something. So yeah, Two-Face going to use his coin to decide the fate. Batman, who has a bunch of other coins, throws it at Two-Face, which he's trying to pick one, and eventually falls to his death. I gotta say, I think Batman Forever, I think Nolan took some inspiration from this movie. I mean, Two-Face falling to his death and the whole two being kidnapped. I think there was some idea there. I mean, not sure how much, but I'm sure there was a little bit there. But yeah, Two-Face falls, and Robin is overall satisfied. His family's avenged. So the Riddler, who is now getting crazier, loonier, wondering why he can't kill you. Bruce, Batman, and one of his iconic lines is like, "See, I'm both Bruce Wayne and Batman, not because I choose to be now. Well, not because I have to be, because I choose to. Now I choose to be." Then the Riddler sees this giant bat and freaks out, and he officially goes insane. Then Chase goes to Arkham Asylum to see if the Riddler still remembers Bruce as Batman. Then we get introduced briefly to Dr. Burton, a nod to Tim Burton, which is still meh. So, it's revealed now the Riddler has truly gone insane and he thinks he's Batman. Ugh. So, at the end of the movie, Chase and Bruce keep their relationship until he gets replaced again, which both don't appear. Then, there's the final shot of Batman and Robin with the bat symbol and the logo. The bat symbol in the background. Them fighting heroically. Them going heroically to fight another day. And that was Batman Forever. Overall, it was a pretty good movie. Despite it. It was very flawed, but it still had ideas that could work with. Well, the music itself is nowhere near as good as Danny Elfman. I don't think the guy was as memorable, whoever did it. I don't even remember him, but yeah. There was ideas that definitely could work if the movie just took a little more darker turn. Bruce's difficulty with duality. I wish we could have saw more of that. In fact, the deleted scenes definitely helped. I still wish we got that 30-minute, version of it that was removed. Release the Schumacher cut. Nah, I'm just joking. But, yeah, I mean, sure, the movie's flawed, and there's moments that are just annoying. The music at times can get meh. And the whole new Gotham looks meh. It's just hard to believe that it's in the same universe as Tim Burton's. I don't believe it. There's definitely an idea that it could be. But still, most fans don't see it. As for me, it's possible. For the movie, despite all its flaws, it's actually enjoyable. You actually can enjoy this movie. I know I did. And I definitely want to make you rewatch aspects of it again. I mean, cut out some cheesy one-liners by Kilmer. Remove the nipples and the ass. He definitely could be, a great Batman. He could have been a great Batman. A Christian Bale type similarity, somewhat, in a interesting way. If maybe Tim Burton was on it. But then again, Michael Keaton likely would still be on it. But still, I would like to see him a more darker turn if he ever had that chance. But yeah, this is Batman Forever. You can hate it, you can love it. It's definitely better than the next movie I will review later on. But yeah, this is my review on Batman Forever. Like it, hate it, I don't care. All I know is this movie, despite all its flaws, is passable.